Hello everyone, I am Punyakirti BL. Welcome to my Python for Generative AI learning series. In this series, we are focusing on Python basics that will help us to build a strong foundation for implementing generative AI concepts. So let's dive in and start today's session. Today's topic is Introduction to Python lists. Let's start with introduction. Today, we are going to learn about one of the most important and flexible tools in Python, that is lists. Before diving in, let's quickly understand what a data structure is. Simply put, a data structure is a way to organize and store data so we can use it efficiently. Python provides several built-in data structures, and lists are among the most powerful. Lists are like a Swiss Army knife in Python. They let you store they let you store and access and also modify multiple items in a single variable. Whether you are building a model, a chatbot, or handling data, mastering lists is essential. So, what is a list? A list in Python is an ordered collection of items. These items can be almost anything: numbers, strings, booleans, or even other lists as well. Think of list as a container that can hold multiple pieces of information. Other languages may call them arrays or vectors, but in Python they are simply called lists. Let's start with the example. Here a list with different type of values in it. So I'm copying that one and let's run that. So when I have this, it is connecting. So now I will run. So it is run. Now if I print this, my data is a list with multiple values like integer, float, string as well as boolean. So this is a basic list. Here the list contains an integer, a float, or a string and a boolean. So how to create a list? Next topic is creating a list. To create a list, use square brackets and separate elements with commas. We already saw that. See, my data with bracket, we can have all the values. This is the way to create a list. That is non-empty list. We can call them as non-empty list because the list contains values in the beginning of the creation itself. If you want to create list with empty values, we can use this. First one is empty list one, just assigning without any values, only brackets we are assigning. And next one is we are calling the function list. So how to understand whether they are created list or not? I can use a type function which can pass empty list one and print type of empty list 2. So we can see now what type of director. See, we created empty lists of type list by using these methods. So both methods can create a empty list. Let's start with accessing list elements. We can call them as indexing. Lists are zero indexed, meaning that first item is at index 0. Okay, so to understand this, we can design something and we can understand. So here, anyway, we have my data. How to access the values? First of all, how it is stores, we need to understand. Here, I'm just trying to create a list in a diagram. So this we can call as list, and these are the values 10. There's a string value. We have so we have value 10, and there's the value here 5.5 tokenizer. So 5.5 tokenizer, and also we can have boolean value false. So in this way the list will have the values, but the index, the position of them are started like this. Zero index means the position will be started with zero and we can access them. So this is called as my list. My list. This is my list. So this my list, if my list of 0, if I specify, it will print 10. This is the way of accessing. These are indexes. The position of the values inside the list is accessed using indices. So how to access that? Let's understand. I want to access a first element of this list using like this. So my list is already there. Sorry, my data we have. So this is my data already run. So my data of 0 if I added, so when I print, see 10 is printing. That means my data contains 0th element is 10. If I want to try my data as 4, 3, it will, so false is the value we have. This is the way we can access. We can also use negative indexing to start from the end of the list like this. So let's try the negative indexing. Negative indexing is we want to get the elements from the right side to left side. My data of -1 if I print, so false. How negative index will be there? This will be -1, this will be -2, this will be -3, and this will be -4. So let's try with -3. If I try that -3, it should print 5.5. My data of -3. So if I print like this, so 5.5, this is called negative indexings. Tip for this, always check the length of the list before accessing elements to avoid errors like index error. List index out of range. So what is that meaning? So what I will do, I will try to access, see my data is there. I want to try to access my data of 4 I will give. But when I try this, it is throwing exception index error, list index out of range. We have values till -4 or 0 to 3, but I am trying to get the fourth element, but the element is not available in the list and the index will end here in 3 only. That's why we are getting list index out of range. So before doing any index or accessing index, we need to know the length of the index, length of the list to avoid this index out of range. That is one of the tip. Next, accessing done. Now modifying lists. Unlike string, lists are mutable. So what is mutable? Which means you can change, add or remove elements. So now we can understand by using the code. So anyway, I have my data of 2. So first I will do one thing. So I will print my data here. I created a list my data with these many values and print my data if I add. So it has all the values of 10, 55 and all. Now 0, 1, 2 tokenizer is there, but I need to replace this tokenizer with language model. 0, 1, 2, in the 2 is the index. In that index, I am trying to replace with language model. When I do this, so you are able to see before it is tokenizer, but after doing the replacement, the language model is there. This is called modifying or assigning the value to the list using index. Okay, this replaces the third element with a new value. Now we need to add elements to that list. Use the append method to add an item at the end. Okay, how to do? So we already have the functions here. I have replaced. Also I'll try to do like this, my data append. So when I run this, you can see now I have replaced. After that, false NLP is added. This is the way to add an element at the end of the list using append function. We can learn this in future using core list methods and all. Now I need to find, before I have previously I discussed that we need to find the list length to get into index and all to avoid the index error. This is the list length function. The length function tells you how many elements are in a list. How to understand that? So let's print that. You can get. Now my list has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whether we will get that values or not. Now you are able to see if I pass a data structure, my data, that is a list, to the length function, it will give the number of elements available in the list. So knowing the list length helps prevent index errors and works for other data structures like strings, tuples and dictionaries too. So let's start with next topic, nested list. We can call it as 2D list as well. List can contain other lists. Creating nested or 2D list is important. This is useful for structured data like tables or matrices. So how to do that? Let's understand. Here you are able to see a list inside a list. So this is a list matrix started here. Inside that we have 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if I print 1 of 2, it is printing. This is 2D matrix. So 1 is, this is the designation 0, 1, 2. One element is this one, 4, 5, 6. Inside that second element will be 0, 1, 2. Sixth will be element. In this way we can access 2D arrays in simple. The first index selects the row. The second index selects the column within that row. So this is 2D array. Let's start with best practices. Check indexes carefully. Python is 0 indexed. So off by 1 errors are common. Keep data types consistent. Although list can store different types, it's better to keep elements similar, especially for calculations. So let's wrap up and recap. Today what we learned, what lists are and why they are useful, how to create lists including empty list. Next topic is how to access and modify elements using indexing and append. How to find list length with length function. How to work with nested list, 2D list. Best practices for using lists efficiently. In the next video, we will explore list operations like iteration, slicing and combining lists. Thank you for watching today's session of the Python for Generative AI learning series. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to my channel for more videos. Also feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. The link is in the description. See you in the next session. Thank you very much.